Dotas, I think.
We Like Dota, episode number 38, starts now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to We Like Dota. This is We Like Dota, the internet's casual Dota 2 podcast. I'm Brian Sabonier, and joining me on this wonderful fall afternoon in Northeast Ohio is none other than the internet's Dota 2 curmudgeon, Ben Yadneb Day. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Brian.
It's you're getting real sassy. The trials and tribulation rate is through the roof today.
It's been a crappy start to this show. This is our fourth time that you've made me introduce the show. That was, you just heard what happened. That was our best take. Was you go, blah. That was our best take.
It reminds me of when, also joining us is executive producer Cheeks of Flappin. Hello, Cheeks.
Self-proclaimed.
Yes, hello.
Okay.
I'm here.
Hi.
Enjoying some mixed nuts in the chat room.
Great. Okay, Ben, this reminds me of when I've gone on a double date with my wife and you and your wife, and your wife asks you to take pictures when we do stuff.
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
And by the third or fourth picture, you just get so crotchety, it's unbelievable.
She had me do at least 6 pictures yesterday in a corn maze.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in a maze taking pictures instead of trying to get out of the maze. I was pretty crabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good situation.
So you're pretty much in the exact same mood as that. So
okay, well,
Ben doesn't like to take pictures and doesn't like to do additional takes on We Like Dota.
I don't like 7 takes to get the intro right. Mm-hmm. It seems like a lot.
It was about 4. So you're kind of jumping the gun here a little bit.
I don't like 4 takes.
Yeah.
I think it should be able to be done in 1.
Obviously, you've never done anything creative.
Well, might be true.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was a little harsh. Wow.
A little harsh, yeah.
Crabby level's going up a little bit.
Yeah, as it should
be. Even
be.
Saltier than I was before.
Okay, good. Okay, we're going to start the show as we always do, as is tradition, with Who'd You Play? And we're going to start with the executive producer.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheeks of Flappin'.
Wow, he changed it up even between takes.
That's right.
That's even more confusing.
So who'd you play this week, Cheeks?
Well, it's funny that Ben should bring up corn mazes, because yesterday I played a little bit of the corn maze game myself.
What is the corn maze game?
When you go in a corn maze and try and get lost.
That's what I thought.
But it was too easy to get out of.
Oh, you actually did it. I thought you were talking about like an actual game. Just like you did.
No.
Were you LARPing in the corn maze?
No, I was just in there, but it was a little bit disappointing because the corn wasn't really as tall as I was, so I could kind of see over the top of everything.
That's disappointing for sure.
I've never done.
It wasn't nearly as creepy and scary as I was hoping.
I mean, this was tall corn in my corn maze. We're in Ohio. I mean, it's sky high.
Where corn is king.
Corn it's our lifeblood here in the Midwest.
We bleed corn.
That's right. So who'd you play, Cheeks, in your Dota 2
who did I play this week?
Yeah.
Well, I continued my Sunday ritual with doing a ranked game on Omni Night today. Won again, so that's good.
What's your record now?
And I'm 2-0 for ranked games with Omni Night.
Wow, and that's quite the tradition. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, so I finally got that minuscule MMR up just a tiny little bit more.
Okay,
well done.
So
sir.
It's still pretty low. I don't know if we're in the habit of disclosing our MMRs on the show, are we?
We have.
Is that a thing?
We have, and we do.
You're welcome to do so.
I mean, I don't really care. It's 15.25 now.
It's pretty low.
Let's work on getting that up a little bit, buddy. That's okay.
So
we're not doing too much better. Well, Ben is, but that's Ben.
Well, yeah. So it's a number. Whatever. I do really, really like the new all pick mode for ranked mode, though.
That is nice.
It's great having.
I do like
time
it.
To go back. A little more planning and stuff too.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been trying to grind reputation on Destiny, and I don't know why I'm playing it.
That sounds not fun.
It's not. It's no, it's not.
But it feels like you should do it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. The shooting is fun. The gameplay is fun, but the basic thing is it's just an MMO grind, and it's just so grindy. It's like that's the reason I don't like MMOs.
Well, and the question I'm left with is, what are we grinding for? Because there's only like 3 of us that we know that play the game, so we can't even do the raid.
I know.
So
I don't
know.
know. We should. I'm really seriously thinking about selling it, just because I'm like, why am I putting so much time into this?
Well, I think it's because
and
Bungie's
not getting nearly as much satisfaction.
Yeah. Well, I think I think it's because Bungie's committed a lot to the game. I think it's going to be a game that's around for a while. So I'm just hoping eventually it's good.
We may have just lost Cheeks.
Well, let's keep going.
That's okay.
He'll get him back.
We'll call him back. We'll get him back on the line here. Ben, who'd you play this week?
Well, so we have started since I've been on the show, we started the We Like Dota League.
We have.
And so we've played a couple matches there. The first match I played Luna. And remember explicitly saying, let's not all run willy-nilly into the river because we're going to get killed. And that's what happened. And it was downhill.
Whoa, that's loud.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah.
It was downhill from there. So that was the first game. And then the second game, I played a Weaver and tried to carry our team to victory. And that didn't work either. So,
Okay.
But no fault of my own.
Okay, yeah.
But outside of that, did have some time to play some Dead Rising 3 and even put together a Dota player's introduction to Dead Rising 3.
Great.
So that's on the interwebs somewhere on the internet. So
Yeah, I tried to get that onto the We Like Dota YouTube page, and
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works apparently either.
Yeah, there's probably some way to do it, but
So I gotta figure
it's
that
on
out.
mine, which is maybe linked to yours. I don't, or to the We Like Dota one. I don't even know.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I have no idea how
Yeah.
any of this works.
I don't know either. But anyways, been playing some of the Dead Rising 3, and that's pretty fun. Playing Shadows of Mordor, a new release game.
People are freaking out about that game.
In a good way or a bad way? Or what do you hear?
In a good way.
Yeah,
I
it's
hear
pretty
nothing
fun.
but good things.
I'll be honest, it's kind of repetitive, but the Nemesis system is so darn neat that it just makes up for it.
So darn neat.
So darn neat. So those orcs are hard to kill, and they remember your fights, and they interrupt fights, and they taunt you, and they really have a good personality to the orcs you have to kill,
Okay.
and they rank up. So every time you fail, the game gets a little bit harder.
Okay.
So the orcs get a little bit more powerful, and all of a sudden some peon orc that at level 1 got a lucky shot in on you is all of a sudden a war chief who's leading a bunch of other orcs and have bodyguards. And so
That's kind of cool.
it's immersive. It's really neat gameplay that just kind of spurs out everything. But outside of that, there's just, it's a good storyline. You visit some of the Lord of the Rings characters that you know and love, and but there's not a lot going into the game outside of the Nemesis system. But it's still, the Nemesis system's so good that it's worth it, and the combat's really good too.
Okay.
So playing that, and then playing a little Alien Isolation, which has gotten some mixed reviews, but
How is it?
it's pretty tense. It's I've played probably 3 hours of the game.
Okay.
Of that 3 hours, the alien's probably been only present for like 1 minute of the entire game.
Wow. Okay.
And it's killed me twice.
Oh.
But the rest of the game, I'm just terrified the entire time that it's going to show up.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid to go into an air duct. Just those are the ones
That's where they live.
Well, the spirally ones from the old, because it's like the first Alien movie. You know the
gosh,
ones that kind of
yeah.
like spiral out and they're like metal and they spiral out.
Yeah.
You crawl in there and it's like pitch dark.
Oh
and
my goodness.
You start hearing noises and you're just like,
I'm kind of scared right now.
yeah.
Ben.
Oh, it's just terrifying just to think about it.
That sounds like a game I'd want to play because
We'll have to check it out.
I
yeah.
love the first Alien movie.
Yeah, it's definitely references that quite a bit. There's androids in the game, but they're made by a competitive company, or competitor company, and they're cheaply made, so they look awful.
Oh.
But they intentionally look awful, and
Interesting.
they're violent. And
Do they have like white goo in them for?
They have, I think
for
it's like
blood
a
or whatever?
whitish goo that pops out of them.
Yeah.
But they're hard to kill. It's
Or
not-
milk? They're filled with milk.
Yeah, this is a stealth game. I think that's what you have to keep in mind. It is fully a stealth game.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly like 20 hours long. So it's a 20-hour long stealth game.
Oh man.
When you're tense the entire time. So I think that's why I can imagine if you're a reviewer trying to review a game that you have to get done in a couple days,
Yeah.
and you're playing a very difficult stealth game that puts you, makes you stressed out the whole time. I'd imagine you're gonna give that a mixed review
Yeah.
also. So some
Right.
people loved it, some people hate it. I'm still on the fence. Again, the alien's only been in the game for a little bit, but it's interesting that they've got the atmosphere locked in for sure. It's
Yeah.
been good. So that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you? Who did you play, Brian?
Well, I actually my Dota playing this week has been somewhat minimal. We played our our WLDL match against the Huge Douches, and
That wasn't their name, I don't think, was it?
No, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely was.
It went better than our first game.
Yeah, I noticed that we usually lose the lanes, either in farm or feeding.
Yeah, I think I was the only one to win a lane, but my lane was weird. Jared just tells me all of a sudden you're going Weaver mid and we're doing a dual lane. I've never played Weaver mid and I've never done a dual lane mid.
It actually worked out really well.
It did, but we had zero practice on that. That was not something we were prepared for.
But you have 2 cores in your side lanes that are melee, and it did not go well. Our side lanes got shut down.
I think the side lanes
hard.
were where we lost that game,
And
but we stayed with it.
We didn't lose our mid lane.
We won the mid lane.
I
think we won the mid lane. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that was a little rough. So shout out to those guys. Glad they got that win in.
Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed playing against them.
Yeah. Nice folks over there.
Friend of the show, Kyler, on that team.
Kyler, yep. And Hugh.
And Hugh, yeah,
huge,
friend of the
huge douche.
Yep. He's not. I mean, I wouldn't describe him as.
Look,
such.
he's a self-proclaimed huge douche.
No, that's just his name.
That's what it says.
It's just his name.
Well, now it's.
I think it's a reference on. It's a commentary on culture. I think.
Yes, a commentary on social mores.
Yes.
Yeah. Or something like that. Okay, Cheeks, are you back with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
all right.
Here. I don't know if you heard my cat.
Did you play anybody else?
Did you play anybody else?
I play anybody else? Not really. I mean, we had that match where I guess I was on Witch Doctor.
What went wrong
the
that
huge
match?
douches, right?
Whose fault was that match? What happened?
It was I
let's
feel
toss some
bad.
blame
I
around.
feel bad because I totally remembered when I was talking to Jared before the game. It's like, okay, we got to get Jakiro banned out because Kyler's excellent on Jakiro. He's great at zoning out. And then I totally forgot about it. And I was like, no. And I said, ban Venge instead because Venge will swap me into the thing. But
Yeah, I think I was going to blame the same person. I was going to blame Kyler for us losing because that stupid Jakiro.
It was also
He had some great ice paths on that in that game.
He really did.
It was. Whew.
I feel like
Well
our
done, sir.
draft was a little our draft wasn't weird, but it was not an ideal laning setup.
Not laning, but I loved our team fight draft.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah,
good.
By the time that got around, though, we were already just so
It
far
was too late.
behind.
We were too. Yeah, we did that too late.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
so. We
that's
decided,
fine.
but
Yeah.
they played really well. I give them props.
There was also some other
Yes,
matches that
GG.
happened. Ben, you and I, and Cheeks, you too. We casted a couple matches.
Yeah, sorry to everybody who
Oh, that
listened
was
to
great.
that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was a good time.
It was fun. It was a good time. I was surprised how fun that was.
We saw a Terrorblade pick from, I think it was Squirtle Squad.
Blue.
Yes.
That was the player Blue on
the
that.
Squirtle Squad.
So that was the most dominant pick that I've seen so far.
No, he was on Liking Our Chances, I think.
He might have been, but it was
Something
definitely
like
it was
that.
Blue for sure.
I remember watching Squirtle Squad, and I wasn't even playing, and I felt like I had a new butthole torn.
Yeah, I don't. It was Blue. Blue out-farmed, I think, almost the entire other team, if I remember correctly. In last hits, he had so many last hits.
It was pretty wild.
It was fun to watch.
So
They basically achieved what the Kappa Crusaders were trying to do in the game before that with P-Frog on.
they were successful because he just got left alone the whole game. He just
Yeah.
had free farm most of the game, but it was fun to watch some of those matches. Definitely, even our matches that we've played in, the skill levels are all over the place. So
They are, yeah. Ours is
a little iffy.
Ours is very low.
well, our personal team. We're hoping we win a match.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Yep.
So some good matches, and congrats to all the teams who won, and
And to the teams that lost, congrats to you.
also congrats to them as well. Okay, let's get into the news, folks. Cheeks, we'll see you at the bottom of the show for chatting with Cheeks.
All right.
If you want to do the dog and pony show for the chat room, whatever
Will
that
do.
means. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see you in a bit.
Do you want to
All right.
Do you want to transition that again? Third time's a charm.
No, I do not. Was that my third time transitioning?
It would have been.
What are you talking about?
I'm just messing with you. You're fine.
That was my first time.
It was good. It was a
Okay.
good
All
transition.
right. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but
It
that's
doesn't
great.
matter. Yeah.
Okay, Ben. ESL 1 New York happened, and
Tell me about that because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I know I don't even have.
Was
to
that the one
ask
that was at
because
the
you didn't
garden?
watch. It was at the Madison Square Garden.
The mini garden. It wasn't the big.
It was
garden.
in the theater.
the
there.
theater.
Yeah.
Tell me about the garden.
Well,
tell me about the ESL.
I tell you, I am impressed with the ESL. I feel like their production values are so high, and they have just got this thing figured out.
Was it better than TI?
Yes.
I know that's controversial.
Yes, I think it was. As far as production values go,
Was the sound quality good?
oh, it was great.
Yeah, because that was TI had some awful sound quality.
The only issues were the first couple matches, they had some DDoS issues.
That's not really on them, though, is it? I mean,
Some people would say it is. I wouldn't necessarily put that on them because other people out there are being
Volvo's
a-holes.
thing? Yeah, it's Volvo's thing. It's
Yeah, I'm not sure. So what wound up happening about, I think after the first best of 3, they switched to just doing private lobbies. So you couldn't watch in Dota TV anymore, which kind of stinks.
That's a bummer.
But they're looking to compensate ticket holders who bought the ticket in game.
Okay.
So I'm
That
not
seems
sure
fair.
if they're going to give them like a treasure chest or refund some of their money, or I'm not sure how that's going to work. But
I think they made the right decision, right? You should move that
Oh,
to
yeah.
the private lobbies to avoid the DDoS.
the games became flawless, very watchable, all that good stuff.
So who won? What was tell me more about the tournament, Brian.
Yeah. Well, it had a bunch of teams such as Team Secret. Team Tinker wasn't there, surprisingly. Sneaky Nyx Assassins, Navi, both European and US versions. Vici, EG, and Cloud9 were there. And I think I'm missing some other teams. But regardless, it was just a best-of-3 single elimination tournament over the 9th and 10th. And spoiler alert, Vici Gaming won.
Wow. Okay.
And EG came in second place, which is
Good.
exactly
Okay.
what happened at ESL Frankfurt.
So you've seen this before.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this is kind of the first major tournament that's taken place, first major LAN tournament after 6.82 has dropped.
Okay.
And you can disagree with me if you want, but I really like what 6.82 has done to the game.
I think it's been fun, and I imagine I watched 0 of the ESL, but I would imagine that it's really shaken things up a bit. It's made a lot of people viable that were not before. So.
Yeah, you don't have these matches where people have won the game at like 15 minutes in or something like that.
Exactly.
So,
And I think it's been interesting to hit right before we started our own league. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect going into these matches anymore. And I think we've even changed. I think every strategy we had thought through is something we have not gone with just because things change so much. So it's very interesting to say the least.
yeah, so it's made for like these really you all of a sudden see like the hard late game carries kind of coming back. We've seen some Spectre picks, Naga Siren and Terrorblade and that sort of thing. And some anti-mage. Black had an incredible game on anti-mage. He had like 800 gold per minute on anti-mage at one point.
Yeah, all of a sudden that's viable again.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's great.
And it's made like these kind of like 30 to 50 minute team fights like really tense because there's just so much on the line.
There is,
at all stages of the game, which I definitely like.
I think it's exciting. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they tweak it and balance the patch. But it seems like right now it's at least made it interesting again.
Yeah.
It's good that they keep changing things.
So Black, he's a German playing on Vici Gaming. I think he's German. And
I don't know. I think he's European.
Vici is a Chinese team, and
Ice Slice is on that team, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And Black has kind of been kicked around to a bunch of different teams the past couple of years, and I think this is like his first major tournament win in quite some time.
Okay.
And I saw a bunch of pictures, and the guy just
thrilled?
looked totally thrilled. Yeah.
Good for him.
Which you like to see, because a lot of times, the gamers don't necessarily look super stoked. You don't see a lot of emotion unless it's right at the end.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like Alliance has shown some in their past wins. They've been pretty. You've got the Lodo passing stuff out at the secret shop and going crazy there.
That's true.
I think you've got some moments there, but I think the sport's still young.
That's true. Yeah.
That you just haven't seen a lot of that yet.
You got to look for the clip reels on
right.
YouTube.
You just got to look it up. Yep.
And I saw somebody, speaking of Loda, I saw somebody with a keyboard that they had a bunch of pros sign. Mm-hmm. Loda signs his name with a smiley face with a little hat on it.
Great. Good for him.
Yes.
Good for him.
The little flat billed hat.
Well, there we go.
He's one of the legends of Dota 2.
He is. I have respect. I don't necessarily care for his style of play or for his teams that he's on usually, but I do respect him as a player. He's a good player.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cloud9 was came in 3rd/4th place with Secret Team.
Mm-hmm.
Team Secret. I can't keep their name straight.
It doesn't really matter.
I feel like Cloud9 is... I feel bad for those guys because I always feel like they're just continually like one step down from being like the highest tier.
I always think they should be good, and then they're never as good as I think
they are. They are good,
but like better than they are. I always feel like they're just gonna, I don't know, like you said, they're just seem like they should be a little bit better, and they're not quite.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, so on ESL 1, the old guy Red Eye, who does like the hosting and stuff. I'm not sure how old he is. I would assume he's in his 30s. That guy is great. He does a really good job.
Yeah, you said the production value is fantastic on this thing, huh?
Yeah, he does a great job of just like keeping the conversation moving, and the dude's like, he's a professional. He's great.
That's good.
He knows what's going on.
And it's interesting because there's definitely some people who are in the scene that have just happened to be there at the right time, and then you get people who are incredibly talented, which sounds like this guy is one of those. So.
Yeah.
And not that they're, I don't know. Some people probably wouldn't be in the industry if the industry had aged at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. In other pro news, Ben, beyond the summits, Summit 2 has kicked off.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you watch any of the Summit 1?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Summit 1? Did you like it?
I don't recall. I think it was probably fine. Yeah.
It was like that tournament that took place in the BTS house. And it's just a real kind of fun tournament. There's a lot on the line, but it has kind of more of a
different feel to it, right?
Different feel
a little
to
bit
it,
more
yeah.
casual,
Yeah.
if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. I encourage you guys to buy the ticket bundle that comes with, I think there's a compendium in there, and of course the ticket and the Dusky Husky courier.
Oh, neat.
Which, that is maybe the cutest courier I've ever seen.
Did you buy the bundle?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
And
I was hoping you didn't encourage them to buy something that you had no desire to buy yourself.
So, of course, you pay $10 for this thing. $2.50 goes to the prize pool. And I'm not sure what they're at right now, but I'm sure it'll do well.
I do like that. I like that these compendiums and these bundles are going towards the players. I think that's a good way to do it. So.
And they're also selling a treasure chest with some cool sets. I got a really cool Wraith King set through that.
Oh, yeah, that Wraith King set, that's pretty nice. I thought you would hate it. I remember we talked about that one. I thought, oh, Brian's going to hate this.
Yeah, I believe the words used were, I almost hate it, but I like it.
You came back with, well, I almost do.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
Yeah, I do like it.
Because we thought it'd be way too loud.
Well, you and Cheeks were talking.
We liked it a lot, and we're like,
yeah.
Brian's going to hate it.
What was it that you said, you guys, that I like when it comes to sets? Like, the only way I like it?
The only thing you like is color swaps.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's blue instead of red. That's all you like.
If you looked at like my Demon Hunter on Diablo,
right?
Like I go for like the basic looks. Like I don't like stuff that gets like super flashy, like that Spectre Mardi Gras set.
Which I love that set. You hate the flashy stuff for sure.
I do, yeah. Which is weird.
Well, it's not weird. It's just your style. But it's just funny. I was surprised you liked the Wraith King set because of
right.
that. So.
Maybe I'm turning a new leaf here, Ben.
You might be. Yeah.
But
having a little bit more fun in your old age, Brian.
These whippersnappers.
Look at that. It's more than just a color. It has a feather on the cap. That's great.
You always want a feather.
Yeah.
But with the Summit 2, they're doing, I think there's like 200 matches or something, or I don't know. There's these crazy, like, there's like a group stage qualifier and then like a regional qualifier and then like a bracket to see who gets to go. They're doing
there's too much.
There's a lot of games.
I think I'm against that to a certain extent. I think it gets kind of crazy and confusing.
Well, I agree, but I almost feel like BTS has to do that.
Why?
Because they get a lot of their revenue from Twitch.
Well,
so I think this is kind of a way to help them make some money.
But there's a sweet spot, right? There's a sweet spot where you have your maximum viewership, and if you do too much, I think you're just spreading it too thin, and people don't care.
Yeah, that could be.
Versus making it kind of exciting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they've hit that sweet spot or not. But
yeah, I don't
my worry
either.
would be you've done too much. So.
Basically, there's a crap ton of games.
Yeah,
so
it could be an oversaturation.
Be ready for that.
I've even seen our friend Loda say that there could be oversaturation with having so many tournaments.
I think there already is.
That's the concern, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like, after ESL, like, some of these people, especially the casters, are like, taking these red-eye flights home, and like the second they land, like they almost have to start casting again.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem healthy.
No, it's just it's all gonna filter down to, eventually there will be more of a professional level and more of an amateur level, and those pros are going to gravitate towards 3 or 4 big tournaments, I think. that will become the bigger money ones. And I don't think that they're going to spend as much time on those smaller ones. I imagine it's going to be similar to golf in that regard.
Which we are kind of starting to see that happen with Star Ladder,
Just give it
ESL.
time. Yeah, give it time.
And the international.
Yeah, give it time, and I think it's going to be even more so defined. So.
Ben, in old man news,
what's that?
Guy news, there is a new team formed called the Old Man with Burning, ROTK, Zhao 8, Lanham, and one unnamed individual.
So at least one of those guys came out of retirement, right? Lanham did.
I think ROTK did too.
Yeah.
And I think Burning did too.
So I don't believe in any Dota players saying they retire now.
Oh yeah,
I just don't buy it.
Yeah, it's like when Michael Jordan retired. Is that because he went into retirement?
Careful,
and came out?
sports ball reference from Brian.
No,
careful.
Okay.
Oh,
no, didn't.
boy.
Who else did this? Didn't. Who's the cheese guy throwing the football?
We're just gonna leave it at that. That's too good for me to comment.
Ben,
on.
help me.
No, I know who you're talking about, but I just would rather watch you struggle. The cheese guy.
Brett Favre. Didn't Brett Favre do this?
He did, but the cheese guy throwing a football was too good.
Yeah. Can you answer my question? Didn't Brett Favre do this?
Yeah, it's similar to those guys, and some other people have done the retirement and comeback thing. And good job.
I mean, I'm excited for these guys to play some more Dota because they are truly great.
It is, but I think it's a weird sport. I mean, you have people retiring in their early 30s, and there is a physical limitation thing that comes into play. I think you and I even talked about, man, we cannot compete with 15-year-olds in the We Like Dota tournament.
They're tearing us apart.
Yeah, we just don't have the hand-eye coordination, the reaction time.
Well,
any of that.
Actually, I think a big part of it, Ben, is time.
Or the time to play.
I feel like time is a lot of it.
That's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Which that's not going to be as big a factor for a pro gamer, but still, yeah, it's just interesting. And I think it's still not quite. Hey, this is my career. I still don't think esports have hit that yet. Maybe a little bit more with League of Legends, but I don't. Just because of the infrastructure that they've put in, that Riot's put into place, I think they've allowed for that, but. I think for most people still, it's like esports can't be my career, but it can be something fun I do for 5 to 10 years. So, but we'll see. I think that's going to change over time.
You think so? Yeah.
Well, it's just going to, as long as the infrastructure supports more coaches and managers and those type of things, eventually maybe you'll have an assistant coach that's just in charge of the carry.
Ooh,
I mean, if it gets big, you have
your support coach, your offlane coach, and your carry coach.
Yeah, I mean,
or your support and core coach.
Your traditional sports have all kinds of coaches, all kinds of scouts, and all those different things, right?
Support coordinator.
They have farm teams. I mean, you just never know what it's going to look like.
That's funny.
As the sport continues to grow. So
look at you, Ben, being all progressive over here.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben.
Well, I told you I saw that thing on the news on Sunday morning news. Somebody was really bashing esports, telling people to go out, play outside, explore real life. Watching people play games is boring.
It's like people who go onto like YouTube and Twitter and talk about how the internet is destroying society.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
What else you got? Any more news?
Oh, we got some news, Ben. Valve added Peruvian and Chilean servers to the pool.
Well, good.
So I like the idea of this, but I'm a little concerned that it's not going to get the Peruvians off of the U.S. East server.
Well, I don't think we can speak for the Peruvians, Brian.
No, I can't. But we were talking about this a little earlier, but from what I understand is the internet routing, like the back end stuff, is a little goofy down there, from what I understand.
Okay.
Like the reason they didn't play on the South American servers is because their pings to US East were lower than they were to the South American servers.
Right.
And I hope that's not the case here, but it very well may be the case.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's. I think the sad thing I've noticed is just the amount of racism that's in Dota.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's pretty insane. There's definitely very little. And it obviously it's frustrating to be in a game and not be able to communicate with your teammates. That can be frustrating, but it goes downhill pretty fast. It's
pretty quick.
It gets pretty bad.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. And then hopefully this will help everybody be able to play with people to communicate with more, and then hopefully not have to run into, racism. Because I've also seen foreign people bashing Americans. I mean, this is across the board. It's just a lot of dissent.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not good.
This is why I'm still in favor of switching to Hearthstone-style communication.
where you can't say much of anything.
You just have the chat wheel, and you have your pings, and then if you want to talk more, if you're in like a...
Maybe you could opt into it, right?
Yeah, maybe opt into it. Or if you're in like a 3 or 4 stack, you can, chat with the people you've grouped up with.
You can't chat in Destiny, for an example. That's one of the things. The big game Destiny that came out.
Yeah.
You can dance, you can point, you can wave, and you can sit. And that's it.
So you can teabag.
No, we already went over that. That's not really what that looks like.
It's teabagging, Ben.
No, that's different. I don't think you understand what that means. Anyways, unless you can, I can chat with my friends through voice chat, but you can't actually chat with strangers in the game.
Oh, so you can only like do voice chat if you're grouped up?
Right.
I think that's such a good change. I love that.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's
I love that.
interesting. But I guess people have, they've figured ways around that, obviously. But it is hard to meet. One of the problems with that is for the raid, there's a 6-person raid in the game. Mm-hmm. You have to have a fixed 6-person group.
Yeah.
And it's hard to meet anybody in the game if you can't talk, right?
That's a good point.
So there's some controversy around that. But yeah, that's good that they're getting more servers out there. That's the plus.
I feel like mostly that's a positive change.
I think so, probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's the Twitch chat effect.
I'm with you. I mean, I have my Xbox Live account set. Back in the Halo 2 days, I had it set so I could only hear my friends because it just wasn't worth hearing.
Oh, because there's always like some dude who's like playing music.
It's awful.
Some kid who's yelling at his mom. It's horrible.
Some kid pretending to be Dr. Phil.
That's actually kind of funny.
It was that I liked.
That's actually kind of... Wait, was this Derek who did this?
No,
Okay.
Derek did something else,
Okay.
but Derek was fun to watch. We
When
had a
are
friend that did
you
some
going to get a headshot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next news item, Ben. Valve patched in some ways of masking IP addresses to stop DDoS attacks.
Okay. When did they do that? After all this other stuff happened?
It was like yesterday, I think.
Okay. So hopefully that's
Saturday?
going to prevent some of that from happening, huh?
Yeah, I'm not exactly too sure on the specifics of it, and if you want to do a DDoS attack, I don't know how you go about finding the correct IP addresses, but...
Can't be that hard.
This is going to make it harder, yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully it works.
So,
Yeah.
good for Valve for at least trying to do something about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is something that Sony's dealing with, Microsoft is dealing with, Valve is dealing with.
It seems like this has only really started to uptick in like the last couple months too.
I think it's getting more attention, and with more attention, there's a lot more kind of copycat, if you will, copycat behavior that comes out of that. So
yeah, I think that's a really good point, Ben.
yeah.
Okay, Ben. Much to the chagrin of some of our listeners and viewers, we're bringing the food of the week out of the grave.
Oh,
today.
are we? Okay.
We're bringing that back to life because I have in front of us here, Ben, right here. You can hear it on the microphone.
This is horrible radio.
In honor of the season that is upon us, we have pumpkin spice Oreos.
Wow. Was this my suggestion?
I think it was.
Really? I
believe it was.
I take it back.
Yeah. This is clearly inspired by the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte that everyone is freaking out about these days.
I think I think I was trolling you when I suggested we bring this back. I think it was a joke.
Oh, and this is biting you in the ass now, Ben.
It certainly is. Are you handing me one of these?
Yep,
Oh,
there you
boy.
go.
To do.
Cheers, Ben. Cheers to that.
Oh, I'm supposed to do that?
Yep.
Okay. So we, just for people who are only listening, we touched cookies as if they were
We did touch cookies, Ben.
as if it was a glass of beer or a
Yeah.
champagne glass or something.
Well, okay, you know how everyone's into pumpkin ales this time of year
I
as
like
well?
pumpkin ales, yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, I know
that's
you
the
don't.
male... It's not that I dislike it. I feel like it's the male equivalent of pumpkin spice latte.
I would drink a pumpkin spice latte and not feel less manly when I did that. You would feel less manly?
No, not at all. I'd have to get it like half sweet and with no whipped cream.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet, but anything you get at Starbucks is sweet for the most part.
I have to get all that crap half
Yeah,
sweet.
that's just kind of how...
Okay, let's take a smell here, Ben.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Well, let's talk about what it looks like. It's got the kind of golden Oreo cookies. These are the golden variety instead of the chocolate variety.
I would say the orange frosting is disturbingly accurate to a pumpkin. Like a little too close.
I was kind of thinking they would be like neon orange.
It's not. It looks like a pumpkin, and that creeps me out.
It's
It
like
looks
a-
like because it looks old, doesn't it? It looks like it's shrivelly and
a
old.
pumpkin that's been sitting on your porch for 2 weeks after Halloween.
Right. It looks like a nasty pumpkin color,
Yeah.
and it looks like it could possibly kill me if I eat this.
Oh, we're about to find out.
Well,
okay, let's give it a smell here, Ben.
So we're supposed to sniff it. I haven't done one of these before because I
Yeah.
wasn't on your... This happened a lot on his past podcast.
Oh, people hate this, but you know what? This is our podcast, and I'm doing it. It's got like the nice sweetness of Oreos, but like with like a weird fake...
It's different, though.
Fake like cinnamon and nutmeg kind
Yeah,
of
I'm not
smell.
smelling pumpkin, though. Do you smell pumpkin? I wouldn't describe it as pumpkin.
A little bit. I get like the fake sweetness of the Oreo cookie more than anything.
Well, what I get is similar to the pumpkin spice latte, which is also not pumpkin, right? I get those.
They call it pumpkin spice, but all it is just like nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon.
Which is
pumpkin
what
has nothing to do
I
with
smell
it.
that in these cookies.
Yeah. Okay.
So what does this have to do with Dota? Why are we doing this?
Absolutely nothing, Ben.
This is awful.
All right, let's dive in here.
We're supposed to eat it now?
Yeah, let's eat it. Here we go.
You're like crunching right into the mic.
Oh, you have to, Ben.
That's awful. Why would... I don't understand.
It's pretty sweet. So it takes about a good 10 seconds for like the cinnamon spice to hit you. And
It's not overpowering. It's really not overpowering.
these could be a lot worse, if I'm being honest.
Well, they're not bad.
They're not bad. Because Oreos kind of made a name for themselves with these novelty Oreos, you know?
I don't know. No.
Well, they got like birthday cake Oreos, coconut Oreos, which sounds horrible.
These are okay. I mean, they're not bad.
The
They're not
cookie's
great.
obviously very buttery.
Does it taste like what you would have thought a pumpkin spice Oreo would have tasted like? To me, it
To
doesn't.
some degree, yes. I'm actually surprised it's not as... I think it's a little too sweet, but it's not as heavy on the spices as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as a pumpkin spice Oreo.
What would you
cookie.
describe it as? Just a spiced Oreo?
Like one of the white Oreos, like the white, because the cookie tastes different than the chocolate cookie does.
Yeah. But it clearly has like the pumpkin spices
It's a little
in
bit
there,
more
though.
cinnamon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good. It's fine. I'd eat another one.
Do you want another one?
Not when we're doing the show. I thought it was obnoxious the first time we did it.
Yeah. No, it's still obnoxious.
They are limited edition, so if you're interested in getting a pumpkin spice Oreo, and for full disclosure, I believe Brian actually spent real money on these, and these were not provided by Nabisco. So, is that correct?
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Nabisco.
We're not sponsored by, but they're limited edition.
And if Nabisco wants to sponsor us, I'd be into that.
Well, I'm all about them. I would eat an Oreo every episode if they sponsored us. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll sell out. That's not a big deal.
So normally right now we would do Brave New Meta, but since Jared is here and you and I don't know anything about the game,
Is that a segment?
it's a segment.
Did I miss the segment? I didn't know we did that segment.
We did it last week. Were you here last week?
I wasn't here last
Okay.
week. Neither was Jared, though.
So wait, who was here?
Cheeks. I think it was just you and Cheeks, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, Jared was here
Jared
last week?
was here.
I think
Yeah,
I've
Jared
missed
was here.
2 weeks.
Okay. But we would normally do Brave New Meta here, and since Jared isn't here and we know nothing about the game, we're going to move on.
What is Brave New Meta?
We talk about how the current patch is affecting the meta and the current game state of the meta.
That sounds awful. No,
Yeah.
that does sound interesting. I'll take it back.
You retracted on that one pretty quick.
Well,
Ben.
it depends on how much you're just talking about the pro gaming scene. If it's just another 15
Hmm.
minutes about pro gaming.
It's not, but that would come up.
A lot,
some
though?
degree.
Like a lot of it?
No, not a lot. Okay, Ben, let's talk about the hero of the week instead. How about that?
That's fine.
The hero of the week is Crystal Maiden,
Okay.
which, full disclosure, we may or may not have done Crystal Maiden in the past.
I'm fairly certain we have, but you think we didn't.
I don't think we have. And if we have,
We've
then
talked about her a lot.
we're just going to
though.
talk about her again.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
that's fine.
Crystal Maiden is someone who, in the past year, she's kind of been a little underpowered.
Yeah,
she
she kind of became awful for a while.
Yeah, she got a nerf, a -3 intelligence nerf to her starting intelligence, which
Pretty sufficient.
that really hurt her
Yeah.
quite a bit. So yeah, let's talk about her. We'll talk about her role, and then how you would lane her, and then abilities and items, and any tips.
Okay.
So okay, Ben, what role do you typically see Crystal Maiden in?
Bench at this point. No,
Bench.
she's coming back a little bit, but she's
She's actually coming back quite a bit.
yeah, so support role though.
I know you don't watch the pro scene, but she's been
No, I
drafted
know
quite a bit.
she's back, but
Yeah.
yeah, support role.
Yeah, definitely. There was a point in
She
time.
can jungle a bit, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, Jared and I played a bot match where he had like a jungling Crystal Maiden. He had like 580 gold
You
per
can
minute
do
on
a
her.
decent job jungling with
Yeah.
her. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't really like junglers though. That's
No.
just me.
It is what it is.
But yeah, she's typically played in the support position. And if she's not in the support position, that's not good.
Haven't seen a carry CM yet.
All right.
Not that it can't happen.
I think the Russians do it from time to time.
Do they?
I think so. I think that's more of a joke than anything, though. But yeah, Ben, how would you lane Crystal Maiden? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I would think that she's kind of squishy, so I would think you'd probably put her safe lane support for the most part.
Yeah, I think safe lane support is great. I think she fits really well into a tri lane.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, she would be okay in mid, but the lane would be wasted on her.
Yeah, I don't think you'd really want to do that, yeah.
And, well, her really slow starting speed is, I think it's like 280 or something like that. She's real slow.
Yeah.
So she would be a bit of a liability in the mid lane for sure.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any sort of escape.
She's not going to solo off lane either, I wouldn't think. No. So her only option escape is to freeze somebody and run away.
So yeah, you want to be doing safe lane support with her generally.
I would think so.
Or tri lane support. Okay, her abilities are her Q is called Crystal Nova. A burst of damaging frost slows enemy movement and attack rate in the targeted area. The range is 700. The radius is 400. The damage is 100, 150, 200, and 250. And it also provides a movement and attack speed slow. The movement speed slow is 30%, so that kind of scales really well. And an attack speed slow of 20, which is, it's okay.
Yeah.
You could do worse. Cooldown is 15 seconds. It's a 100, 120, 140, and 160 cooldown. And provides ground vision of 900 radius within the targeted area for 6 seconds.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, so it's a nice little ability. This is definitely her main nuke outside of her ultimate.
Yeah.
And
it can farm late in the game, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Once you get a decent amount of intelligence up, you can spam this thing, no problem. And
a little bit of harass going on.
Yeah, it's a nice spell in team fights. You can, you usually want to get in as many of these as you can. So you're kind of dipping in and dipping out and dipping in and dipping out.
Sure, we'll
or
go
something
with that.
like that. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Well,
I don't. But
you don't. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
I don't want you to know that, Ben.
Well,
since you play carry.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I know some people tend to go for her W, which is kind of a root, and her E, which is like a passive mana regen aura. They tend to some people tend to favor that over her nuke, but I think unless you have a really good reason to, or something that synergizes really well with those other two abilities, I think you want to be prioritizing.
Well, give me the stats on the W before we go into that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Ben. Her W is called Frostbite, encases an enemy unit in ice, prohibiting movement and attack, while dealing 50 damage every half second. Lasts 10 seconds on creeps level 6 or lower. So this was the damage was recently buffed on this. Mm-hmm. And I think it was...
Well, how does it scale with level, the ability?
The duration.
Okay, so it goes 10.
So it's 1.5 to 2.5 in 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
It lasts 10 seconds on creeps.
You're right, okay.
So the damage per half second is 50. So at level 1, that's 150 damage.
Not too bad.
Yeah, cooldown is 10 seconds. Mana cost is 115, 125, 140, and 150.
3 seconds is a long time to keep somebody rooted. I mean, I like that.
That's nice. And that's... How much damage does that happen? That's
I didn't hear the numbers.
300? Yeah, because it does 50 damage every half second.
For 3 seconds, then yes.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty good. I think that was just recently buffed. I think that was what
I think
was
that's why
added
people
in.
pick it over the Q. What's the Q damage?
The Q damage is... Well, you have to remember the Q is also an AoE.
I know.
At max level, it does 250.
Yeah. So it depends on whether you're single target.
Yeah.
You're trying to take a single target out or harass, but...
Okay, so in 6.82, the frostbite damage interval was changed from 70 per 1 second to 50 per half second.
Mm-hmm.
And also the freezing field explosion radius was increased. So we'll get more into that later. But yeah, I think the change to frostbite is why people have been picking her up again.
Yeah.
I think mostly. Let's see here. So, some notes on Dota 2 wiki. Applies an initial mini stun to the target before the rest of Frostbite's effects. So I think you could like stop channeling with this if
That's
it
my
applies a mini
understanding.
stun.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Luna does with her Q, her Lucent Beam. True Blink abilities cannot be used while under the effects of Frostbite. Frostbite does not prevent Phantom Strike, Duel, Sun's Ray, or Toggle movement. Let's see, it does not prevent Duel. Okay, so Cheeks is not going to like that. Duel from
LC,
Legion Commander, yeah. Unique attack modifier abilities cannot be cast while Frostbite is active, which that's strange. I'm not sure why that would be. So the total amount of damage is 150, 200, 250, or 300. So at level 1, you're doing 150 damage, and you're getting a...
Well, I think the root's the big thing that I like about that. I think that's where it really comes in
Prohibits
handy.
movement and attack, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a great ability if you're trying to get a gank or take out a single target for sure.
Yeah, for 1.5 seconds, that's pretty good at level 1.
What's the mana cost, though?
115 at level 1.
All the way up to level 3 is
Crystal
what? Or
Nova
level
is
4
100. It's 115, 125, 140, and 150.
Okay.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad. That's actually a good ability. Let's go on to the next ability. What else you
Okay,
got?
Arcane Aura. This is a passive aura. Gives additional mana regeneration to all friendly units on the map. This bonus is doubled on Crystal Maiden.
I like that ability. Although, what's the? Tell me the stats. What's it giving everybody?
The bonus is 1, 1.52, and 2.5.
It's pretty good.
And of course, it's doubled on Crystal Maiden, so it'd be 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Some decent regen.
Yeah, I don't think it's fantastic though. Like, I think it works well if you're going for like an aura strategy. Like if you're
Well, you don't need to be,
like
but you don't need to
Drow
be
and Elder
near
Titan.
anybody. It's a global, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's worth getting a value point in.
I think it depends on who your other heroes are.
I agree with that entirely. Yeah, I think that's worth noting. It does stack with Ring of Basilius and Vlad's offering. The bonus is not increased by items that give a percentage increase to mana regen. So there's some interactions you got to look out for there.
Watch out for those interactions.
Okay, and her ultimate is Freezing Field, which I really like. It does a ton of damage.
It's just so easy to counter,
Yeah.
though. I think it just depends. If they don't have a lot of control, it can be great. But
Yeah.
if they can, just like anybody who has a channeled ability, if you can take out the channel, then
You got to be smart about it.
yeah, you do.
But yeah, this is channeled, surrounds Crystal Maiden with random icy explosions that slow enemies and deal massive damage. Lasts 7 seconds. Radius is 685. The explosion radius is 250. The movement speed slow is 30%. The attack speed slow is 30. The damage is 105, 170, and 250. So that's kind of, you're getting hit with an explosion for 7 seconds if you're caught in that. So long story short, it does a ton of damage.
It does. If you can keep people in it, then it's fantastic. So,
But yeah, as you said, since it's channeled, I mean, all you need is a stun, and
you can get a BKB or something to protect her. But
yeah,
I just
a
feel
BKB
like
is a lot of farm. For
it's a lot
support,
of
though.
farm. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is just she does need some farm to kind of really be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
But if she's ignored, then that's great.
What
So,
about a Ghost Scepter? Can you get a Ghost Scepter on her?
probably? Yeah, I would imagine that would
Yeah.
work.
I'm not sure how much Ghost Scepter is. That's like 2,000 gold or something like that, I think.
I think it's cheaper than a BKB. I don't usually get a
Okay.
Ghost Scepter though.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's really good. If an enemy remains in the radius of Freezing Field for the entire duration of the spell, they will take 1505, 2437, or 3584 damage.
It's a decent amount of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
The Aghanim Scepter increases the damage and the slow. So the damage increases at max level to 310 versus 250. And the attack speed slow goes up to 50.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. That's like a Hyperstone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think... Yeah, with her, you just got to be smart about when you use this ultimate. You got to... I think you want to try and use like vision to your advantage. So if you can like stay on the high ground and use this, it's really good. You know, like think like at the Radiant Tier 2 tower.
Yeah,
how
it's
there's
all
that little
positioning
ramp.
with
Yeah.
her. I mean, that's what it boils down.
Or if you
to.
can get into the trees, you know, and get off a good tree freezing field, that's really good as well.
Tree freeze is the official term.
A tree freeze, right? Whenever I think of freezing field, I always remember I think it's the TI3 Liquid versus LGD match when there was just this crazy fight in the Roshan pit, and somebody on Team Liquid got off a really good freezing field and just like
obliterated everybody.
Obliterated everyone. Yeah.
It can be good.
So
tell me, as the person who normally plays support between the two of us, at least.
Yeah.
What items do you like to run on Crystal Maiden?
I'm glad you asked, Ben. Of course, support items, wards, courier, that kind of stuff.
So like a mech and drums, is that what you're referring to?
Yes. I'm referring to wards and courier.
No, support items, you said. Or is that what you meant, wards and courier?
Yeah, starting support items. Yeah, you want to get somebody with wards and courier. I
thought you were being just really, really vague.
No,
You'd want to get something a support would use.
Right.
Like, okay.
I do really like to get Tranquil Boots on Crystal Maiden because you're going to have that Arcane Aura to kind of help you out a little bit. And you can kind of get your boots earlier with her, and she really needs that health pretty badly.
You don't usually like Tranquil Boots. You're usually anti, aren't you?
I don't. Yeah, I'm usually somewhat anti Tranquil Boots, but I think it makes a lot of sense on her.
Okay.
I really like after that immediately going for, and this is all situational, of course, going for either an Urn of Shadows or a Bracer into a Drum of Endurance. Because again, her health pool is super low and she's like frail as a kite.
Yeah.
So you just got to try and buff up her strength a little bit, and Urn and Bracer and Drum are going to do that, of course. Dota 2 Wiki is saying Blink Dagger is good on her, which I think if you can get it off a good Blink ultimate, that would be really good.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, that's definitely the point. Or even a Blink and then freeze somebody in place. That's a good move too.
Yeah, that's just so much farm on her though. I know I say this all the time, but I feel like a Force Staff would be a little bit better on her because you get
the intelligence.
You get that 10 intellect and the HP regen from the ring. So I don't know. I kind of like that a little bit. Yule Scepter is really good on her. Helps get up that movement speed because her starting movement speed is 280, which is terrible.
Right.
It's horrible. Let's see here. What else, Ben? Ghost Scepter helps against auto-attacking carries by granting Crystal Maiden a brief period of invulnerability to physical damage. So that's not going
to help against your stuns is the problem.
Yeah, so don't get Ghost Scepter.
Well, you could.
I mean, you could. Technically, you could get anything.
You can do what you want.
Whether it's a good idea or not, that's...
It's all situational, Brian.
I know. Ag Scepter, of course, improves freezing fields damage and the slow, which I think the slow might be the real ticket on that one. You can get off a good slow with that. Shiva's
good
Guard.
luck getting the farm to get all that stuff, though. That's the trick, right?
Yeah.
Unless you run her in the jungle, which you don't like doing.
Right. I do not. Jared likes it, but there was a period of time where like the de facto build for Crystal Maiden was Hand of Midas and Sticker in the jungle.
Well, that's when everybody was buying a Hand of Midas.
You'd have like 4 Midases on a team. It was weird.
It was a weird phase.
Ooh, Ben, with Shadowblade, okay, Shadowblade, you can use that while you're channeling the freezing field.
That's nice.
That could be good.
Good luck farming that all up.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure if I prefer that or a BKB. I think I'd almost prefer a BKB.
I think I would if you can do that. But
yeah.
Great. So Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, Ben, I know that you've played some Crystal Maiden. Do you have any additional thoughts on her?
It's been a long time since I played support. You guys don't have me play support.
You're
anymore.
infamous for getting a ton of kills on her, though.
Yeah, and that's probably why I got moved to carry instead. I probably played her like a carry, but no, she's changed so much. I don't know if I have any specific suggestions. I'm not a huge fan of her still. I think there's still other people I'd probably pick over her just because her ultimate, I think, is just either easily avoidable or easily countered with a stun.
Yeah,
so
it depends on the draft.
Yes, I don't know if I love her necessarily.
But. Yeah, I think if you pick her, you want to pick her later into your draft where you know if they're
what you're
have a
getting
ton of
into
disable or not. Yeah.
Exactly. She used to be the go-to, so I mean maybe she'll be back, and she is a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think even with her without her ultimate, I feel like her Q and W are so strong.
They are strong, yeah,
which are really good.
Those are good.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Recommend or don't recommend, Brian?
I do recommend. I give her a definite recommend, and
you need to push something.
I do need to push something. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, these are definitely a buy.
There we go.
I'm kind of sick of that already. I'm gonna say don't recommend.
Okay.
I'm just I don't know. I think there's better options
for the reasons stated.
For the reasons already stated or implied.
Who would you rather have than Crystal Maiden? Then let me ask you.
I would even rather have Lich. I'm looking at your Lich plushie. I'd rather have Lich. I would rather have, Wraith King, Sven, anybody who has a reliable stun, and
I don't. Her W is,
but her W is
almost
nice.
a stun,
It is nice. She's just so squishy. I don't love her
yeah.
squishiness. So
I think Lich is pretty squishy though. He does have the frost armor.
He's got the
which
armor.
Is nice,
yeah,
though.
he's got the armor. I don't know, and she's okay. Yeah, I just would rather have other people.
Here's who I don't disagree with you. I feel like I would almost rather have Ogre Magi instead
I would.
Of
at this point, yeah, for sure. He's pretty strong right now.
He is. That I don't know. I was just listening to a stream where they were talking about how Ogre Magi didn't get a ton of buffs this past patch, and I totally disagree.
I disagree too.
His HP regen being changed from 0.25 to 2.5 starting. That's crazy.
That's a decimal point. Yeah.
That's a ring of regen. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Yeah, but anyway,
he's unreliable for different reasons. Just
right.
But
yeah,
he's fun. I like him.
Yeah, I don't dislike Crystal Maiden though. She has a ton of really cool items.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. The cosmetics are great.
Cool. Yeah, I've got that weird crown, the immortal crown.
Yeah, do you have the mustache coat?
I do not.
No,
that thing's weird.
It's pretty cool.
I have a scarf for her.
Yeah,
and a hair clip.
Now she has all kinds of cosmetic items.
She has. You can be at Force Staff and Yule's Scepter for one of her weapons that you can equip. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I currently have a Force Staff.
Yeah, I don't play support, but all I know is that when I play carry, if she's on my lane, I feel like I have to babysit her, and that's not what I want to do.
You have to support the support.
I have to support the support.
Yeah.
So that's scary sometimes. But I think a good Crystal Maiden, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, you do just have to be so careful. And especially with her slow movement speed, it doesn't help her out.
She's too much of a liability.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just me.
Okay. All right, let's move on, Ben. The item of the week is Medallion of Courage.
Okay.
It is made of a chainmail, a sage's mask, and a recipe. It gives you plus 50% mana regen, plus 6 armor. It has an active ability called Valor that reduces the armor of you and your target, lasts for 7 seconds, and provides a minus 6 armor reduction for you and your target. Range of 1,000 on that, which is really nice. It costs $1,075. Gold. And let's see, the cooldown on it is 7 seconds, I believe. So I don't know. I really like Medallion of Courage.
Do you? Yeah.
If you can get it really early, this thing just wrecks.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how much effective HP one armor is. I feel like it's like 100.
I don't know. I don't know the math.
That doesn't sound right though. If Jared was here, he could tell you. Mm-hmm. But I think in the early game, this thing, if it's really good, like if you're ganking. So like if you have like, let's say a roaming and ganking Vengeful Spirit.
That can be great on her. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Because her Wave of Terror already does minus 6 armor, I think, or minus 5. That's at max level. But that's a lot of armor reduction in the early game.
It is, yeah.
So you can really wreck with this thing.
But it does take it away from you too.
Yeah, that's why you have to be careful. So if you're going to gank with this thing, gank with somebody else. Yeah.
I definitely think that's where it's best suited, is either a gank or I know people will use it against Roshan occasionally.
Oh, it's really good against Roshan, yeah. Yeah, you almost see this like as a core item on Lycan. Mm-hmm. Like he'll go for this really early just in case he catches anyone else out, and then once he gets his Vlad's offering up,
right,
he can just take on Roshan so easily with it. So I like it. Ben, what do you think?
I give it an in-between. It's just so situational. I think a lot of times on a squishy carry, it doesn't make sense just because you're squishier when you use it.
Right.
But if you can get it on somebody else who, like a Lycan is a really good choice to put it on. It just depends on the hero. But I think it fits into some heroes' kits really well, but overall as an item, I'm like, don't recommend for, a mass pick for a lot of heroes.
Yeah,
it's just very specific.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this across the board at all.
Definitely not.
But
no.
I think at $1,000, I think this is a pretty good pickup.
It's good, and like you said, I think it's one that you do need to kind of get farmed up pretty early to really take the best advantage of it.
I feel like when I have had it, I've been very effective with it.
Well, good.
I think we may have still
you play
lost
Venge,
those games. But
you play Venge a lot, so. Or you just used to. I think Venge is probably where you mostly used it, so.
It's nice on her. It's
Great.
It's real nice on Death Prophet.
Yeah.
In combination with the spooky ghost.
I've seen it like recommended for Weaver, and I don't love it on Weaver, for example, but
Yeah. Okay.
some people do just
That's
because it additional armor reduction. But I don't know. There's things I'd rather get.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the next segment here. Chatting with Cheeks. Gonna play this.
It's Cheeks time already.
Hello.
Welcome to the dense and impenetrable web of systemic bullshit we collectively refer to as Dota.
How you doing, executive producer Cheeks of Flappin'?
Self-proclaimed.
I'm just fine. I'm in here in the chat room on Twitch.
How's it
Getting
going?
hot.
It's hot. Oh boy. What did Brian say?
We've got Busby, we've got Gainus in here, Gainus, and we've got Huge Douche and Last Talon, and we are talking up a storm about a variety of things.
What are you guys talking about?
Stay away
Well,
from
we're talking-
Busby. He'll out farm you and destroy your face.
Yes, pretty much. There's that, of course.
Of course.
Let's see here. What were we talking about? We were talking about pronunciation.
Oh, yeah.
Pronunciation. Of certain Dota 2 terms.
Yeah, what did you pronounce wrong?
The Aegis of the Immortal,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
the
yeah.
Aegis of the Immortal.
What did you decide for
And-
that one?
I still have no idea.
Perfect.
I'm still on the fence.
Okay.
Not really sure. Aegis is kind of fun to say, or even Aegis is kind of fun to say. We were talking about Scotty, Scatty, Skady,
Can we call it Scatty, please?
Scatty,
I like Scotty.
Scotty.
Hugh said that perhaps the Eye of Scotty should give you warp speed.
Oh
You know.
yeah.
Oh,
the
good
Eye of
joke.
Scotty.
Star
Yeah.
Trek joke. Great.
Well, I know
And then we got
Ben likes to
into-
say Aegis. He takes the
Do I say Aegis?
You do. You take the
I don't think I
European
ever said that.
the European route.
I didn't know I said that.
Yeah.
The Aegis.
Aegis.
The Aegis. I like that.
Sorry.
I promise that we would do a lot of mispronunciations in our Noobscast Noob stream
Oh yeah, we'll be full
on
of those
purpose to see if we
intentionally.
get more viewers.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
The kind of viewers that hate you.
So you spoiled the fact that we're going to be doing a Noobs Cast Noobs, huh? It's coming.
Yes.
It's going to be great. It's going to be epic.
It's gonna be really good. Hugh also said some people were kind of mixed emotions about the food of the week making a comeback here.
It's a bad idea, isn't
Hugh
it?
said that maybe the next new segment can be called Managing Type 2 Diabetes.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of any positives, but that's another negative to add on to the pile.
Look, Hugh, we only had one Oreo, okay? Everything in moderation, as my grandmother-in-law would say.
The serving
And-
size is
and-
only 2, so we split a serving between the two of us.
And there was some talk about you guys touching cookies. I said it reminded me of that scene in Showgirls where Gina Gershon and Elizabeth Berkley are toasting tortilla chips.
There you go.
And they press so hard against each other that they break, thus signifying the strange tension between them.
That's
The passion, the heat, but also the hate.
That's that movie with Jesse Spano in it, right?
Yes, that's Elizabeth Berkley.
All right.
Saved by the Bell
Yeah.
lady.
Just
Yeah.
for the record, that one Oreo is 5% of our saturated fat requirement.
5%?
The one Oreo.
What
Yeah.
else can we get to get that up, Ben?
And 3.5% of our sugar intake in the one cookie. But good news, 1% of our iron.
Oh, hey, getting your iron in.
finally.
So nutrition, it's the pumpkin.
Yeah.
I was thinking if anybody looked truly anemic, it was the two of you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably true.
Truly anemic.
Anything else good in the chat room?
Anything else we're talking about in the chat? Oh, we're just talking. We're talking a little bit about
Chatting.
WLDL. Gannis is talking with me about corn maces and the distinct lack of them in Europe.
Yeah, there probably aren't as many, huh?
Yeah, they've got the real things over there, so they don't need ones made of corn.
They've got the actual labyrinth with
They
David
do.
Bowie
yes.
in it.
Yeah, they do have some
Yeah.
good mazes in Europe. So,
It's true.
how are people feeling about the WDL,
WLDL.
WLDL, whatever? It is?
WLDL. People are liking it.
Cool.
I haven't had anyone say that they totally hate it. Last Talon hasn't said anything about wanting to quit and, do better things with his life or anything yet. So that's good.
I don't feel like we've made it until
let's
somebody
see.
does decide there's something better to do.
That's true.
We're apparently not even open for consideration at this point.
I don't know. But yeah, everybody's just kind of talking about matches, and he was questioning whether or not you won that lane in the NAN
shots
versus
fired.
HD.
I'm with you on this one. Ben goes, "Oh, I won the lane. I won the lane."
Was I against you in that lane?
I think you were. Yes,
Who
he
was
was
he?
the Zeus.
Oh, I won that lane. Here.
I don't think you lost the lane.
But in fairness, there were two of us there. So
I told him that we just told you that you won the lane so that you wouldn't quit the team.
that sounds about right.
because you guys need me, that's why.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much.
I will say that I did not handily win that lane if I won it. So I'll give you credit there. So
A major concession here on We Like Dota,
take
folks.
that. I haven't
That's
looked at the
right,
stats. I felt like I was winning the lane. So which it's not always how that goes.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. What else we've been talking about? We talked about National Coming Out Day was yesterday, apparently.
Okay.
There you go.
So last Tal include us into that, and major shout out to all those folks who came out yesterday.
There you go. Congratulations.
Good on you. Good on you. It's about time.
It's about time.
You shouldn't
Cheeks was
live,
timing you.
You shouldn't live a lie like old guys who are trying to play Dota and think that they're okay at it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That
You're
sounds
right.
about right.
Yep.
Yes. So good on you. Let's see. And otherwise, that's pretty much been it. I really did. Getting back to mazes, he was talking about different other types of vegetable or fruit mazes. So he was talking
There are
about
other
a
types?
strawberry maze. No, there's not.
Wow.
But he was talking about a strawberry maze.
He's just
or also
theoretically speaking about those things.
Yes. Or a Pinot maze, which would be pretty sweet.
Okay.
Which I
I'd
asked
be
if it
okay
was
with
just drinking a
that.
bunch of wine and then having to try and find your way out or something.
That seems like that one could
It
be
sounds like
successful.
every
yeah.
Saturday night for me. Do you
All
have
right.
any?
Well, I think we're ready.
Yeah. Do you have any noobs ask noobs questions for us, Cheeks?
Boy, do I. Boy, do
Okay.
I. They're just coming out my ears right now. So here we go. Noobs ask noobs.
Perfect.
All right. So our first question, here we go, comes from An Evil Donkey. Friend of the show, An Evil Donkey.
Okay.
Here we go. So I have to admit, I have an unhealthy obsession with the various Dota hat collections they are constantly bringing
Oh, yeah.
forward in a shameless bid to take my money. When you are playing grown man internet dress up, what is your favorite character set? I wish that I wasn't terrible with Bounty Hunter because mine is easily the Dark Tower ripoff Hunter with no
yeah.
Hunter with no name set. Sorry again for the sorry to go against the new all-inclusive Noobs Ask Noobs and actually bring a Dota question. He'll do better next time.
Hey, it's all inclusive, so we've got.
This is all
you know,
this is all good.
I didn't know it was
He's
all
right on the
inclusive.
mark here. Yeah. Cheeks made the executive decision to just open it up to whatever,
Okay.
which
Great.
sounds terrifying.
That sounds like an awful idea.
I can feel Ben getting stressed out.
Yeah,
on
I
this
might,
side of
I
the
might
room.
just pass on answering some.
So guys, favorite hats, favorite sets.
I really
What's the
like
deal?
some of the Tidehunter stuff that's out there. He's got the shark hat that he has and the pirate flag, and he's got all kinds of things he likes to use instead of an anchor.
Yeah.
He's
The
got, like,
octopus
fish.
hat?
Yeah, like octopus. He's got some fun items. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. I do really love that Dark Tower Bounty Hunter set.
Yeah, I was gonna
thing's
say you
real
can't.
cool.
You're gonna be stuck on that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, well, the two heroes that I have been gravitating towards are the aforementioned Crystal Maiden,
Yeah,
and then I also have an abundance of Marana items.
you do. You have a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe too many. It's a little unhealthy.
Yeah.
A little creepy.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit much.
Well, that new like cold weather set that she has.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
You already talked about that once before, at
Did I?
least.
Okay.
A lot.
Oh,
You talk
boy.
about it all the time.
Oh boy, here we go, folks.
It's kind of
oh boy,
creepy.
It's getting
Yeah,
weird.
It's getting kind of strange.
But I do enjoy the Dota Hattery. Speaking of which,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can go to
definitely.
dotahattery.com.
There's a website.
Yeah, and you can put like different items on heroes, and
It is dress up.
yeah, and it'll even give you like a link to buy all those things too.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. Okay, next question.
Anything.
I don't know if I.
Oh wait, don't I get to answer the question?
Yes, you do.
I
get
thought
to
you were
answer
asking the
question.
questions. This is just. Go ahead.
Well, I think I'm entitled to answer one.
Oh,
if I
you
want.
are.
I suppose you can.
You
yeah,
are.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm making an executive decision as an executive producer right now. I'm going to answer this question.
Self-proclaimed decision. Yeah.
Here we go. So my favorite set is the yet to be released Pantsless Void set that I did mock up for.
Perfect.
I'm glad I let you answer. That's great.
Yeah, because I mean it's good. Faceless Void with a cape and his jockeys down, holding a belt
I like
as his weapon.
His jockeys.
I like your design a lot. Your design's great.
Do they have jockeys in his realm? His alternate universe?
I assume.
He has kind of a void where there is a void.
Yes. There's supposed to be a chronosphere in the sketch.
Yeah.
He's supposed to have a chronosphere over
excuse
his
me, not void, chronosphere, yeah.
Maybe we'll release
blocking his glory.
We'll release that set with the WLDL season 1 ticket.
Yeah. My version
there
had a trench coat and a oddly shaped censored sign.
I do like how strange Ben's version was.
Yeah, they were both pretty
that
weird.
was a pretty
The
good
trench
one.
coat made it.
But I think you could do different styles, right? Because remember how the
totally.
sets have those styles, so you could do different
That's
styles
true.
for the pants.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or we just
That's
do 2
true.
sets, more money.
Yeah, we're not gonna make any money off this anyways. But what else?
Did you
got?
guys ever see the one on the workshop that was the disruptor sitting on a tractor with like coveralls on?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. It was pretty fun.
I enjoyed that one. I wish that was an actual.
It will be. Just give it time. Give it time.
Give it time. No, I know. I'm pretty sure that I think that Valve has pretty strict rules against that.
They do.
Shenanigans.
You would see that in League of Legends instantly.
I don't know, that weird Ursa cowboy set made it through.
Ursa Cowboy. I don't know.
Yeah,
if I
there's
saw
one
that
with Ursa wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah. They've
There
had
is?
some that have kind of broken what their norm is, but for the most
Well, I know
part,
there was that Alpine Ursa set, which everybody
Yeah, it's that
was
one.
mad about, and now it's like super rare and super expensive.
Did they take it off the market? They might have.
Yeah,
They
they
must
did.
have.
Yeah. No, I know. League of Legends, anything goes. So they just make all kinds of strange sets on that game. But
yeah.
Valve is
You know-
pretty strict.
Interesting bit of trivia: the guy who I was in high school jazz band with, he
Yeah.
was a tenor saxophone player. He does music over at Riot Games now,
Oh,
and he's
cool.
like part of that League of Legends metal group. I forget what it's
Oh,
called.
gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
He was posting a bunch of stuff about it, but he asked me one day if I
Yeah.
played League of Legends. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm more of a Dota guy, but more power to you.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Brian pulled up that set he was talking about, and that definitely is something that would be subtle for League of Legends, but it's totally out there for
Yeah,
Dota.
yeah.
That's insane. What's it selling for?
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I have
market.
no
It's probably
idea.
a
I
lot,
just
huh?
think it's desirable now because it's banned or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It's taken off. Scarcity.
What
you
other
know, that sort of
questions
thing.
do you have for us?
All right. So question number 2. This one's outside the realm of Dota. So here we go. So here is a first world problem. This question is from friend of the show, Kyler.
Okay.
He says, when it comes to trying new craft beers, what factors do you take into consideration to make your choice? Do you look at the box art? Is it the name that jumps out at you and says, drink me? Or do you just go down the rack and try everyone at least once to give them all a try? I myself am partial to Fat Tire, Robert the Bruce, Rebel IPA, and Stella Artois. I think the first 2 beers might only be available in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland area.
We actually can get access to, I think, pretty much everything he said.
Yeah,
for
we
me,
can,
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I think the box art can definitely play into it. Usually, it's word of mouth, and then I tend to gravitate towards something that is a style of beer that I'm in the mood for. So certainly something that's going to fit into that particular season. I know Brian and I usually after the fact will check Beer Advocate. I don't know.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know if Brian does it before or after, but I usually will try the beer and then check it out after. But word of mouth tends to be where I go. We have a really nice local place too that has a really good selection of microbrews and stuff. So that's always good.
Nice
But I'm
little
always
tasting
open.
bar.
Yeah, I'm always open to trying something different. I once had a beer that was a small batch brew that was brewed with cream stick donuts. They just threw like 100. They threw 100 cream stick donuts into the batch, and it tasted like cream stick donuts, and it was delicious. It was great.
You think they gotta like puree that or something?
Oh, I would assume it was. Yeah, it had to have been.
No, it's
pureed.
whole donuts.
Do you think it's just the whole?
I
donuts
worked in a
sort of
brewery. It's whole donuts.
thing? Okay, you've done the donut the donut small batch before, huh?
Yeah.
How about you, Brian? Any particular? You're more of a wine person, but
I kind of like anything alcoholic as long as it does as long as it doesn't taste like the Caribbean, like your rum and
you're not a
tequila-based
fruity.
stuff.
Yeah, you're not a fruity drink
No.
person.
So yeah, beer isn't my first go-to, but I definitely really like beer.
How do you
quite a bit.
choose? Let's translate that to wine. How do you choose wine?
I've been leaning towards whiskeys lately.
Okay, how do you choose your whiskeys? Is it label?
Well, with whiskey, I just have my go-tos.
Okay.
I have Bullet.
This is not a good question.
Old
for Brian.
granddad whiskey.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Do you have an answer, Cheeks? Because Brian.
Well, I have a beer. Let me get my beer answer.
Okay.
Ben, okay. Because I'm also a home brewer, so I do that.
You
as
are.
well.
That's
Yeah.
true. Fair enough.
You're not making whiskey though. That's illegal.
Really?
Yeah, you can't do that. Don't. Yeah, shut it down. Don't
Dang
do
it.
that.
Okay. Well, with beer, kind of like Ben, I'm usually gravitating towards one particular style, and then I kind of do a priority system. So, style of beer I'm wanting,
Yeah.
and then I go for something new,
Yeah,
within
something
that
different,
particular
yeah.
style,
Mhm.
and then if all else fails, I just go for cool packaging.
Yeah. But you're not afraid to revisit like you really like what is it, Back in Black IPA?
Dude, I love Back in Black.
That's like your go-to if you're just not sure. So
I've been drinking that for a year, and I still love that stuff.
I think the local place does like a create your own 6-pack, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to try some different things. But I always like trying new things.
Yeah.
Some of them are not always winners.
Yeah.
So just don't be afraid. That's what it boils down to.
That's right. Be bold,
You might
folks.
find a new favorite.
Be bold.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready for the last question here?
I am.
Let's
Yeah.
get it.
All right. So this one's from Hugh. He says, should there be a practical limit on equipped items beyond the 6 slots? In other words, should heroes be prevented from wearing multiple instances of the same item type, i.e. Sage Mask and Mask of Madness, 2 types of boots, Bracer and Armlet of Morrigan, etc.?
I mean, like an additional.
And he went on
limit.
further to ask
Whoa.
if like Nyx Assassin and Weaver should be made to buy 3 pairs of boots.
Perfect. To answer his first question, absolutely not, because generally if you're building 2 of those items, you're doing it wrong. Unless you're Ember Spirit and building like 2 Battle
Well,
Furies
but
or
let
something
me
like
play
that.
devil's advocate. I think that might be part of the point there is maybe they could do something with the interface to make newer players aware of the fact that that's a stupid thing to do. So not necessarily limit it from happening, but maybe the purpose of the limit is to prevent people from making a mistake.
Yeah, that could be.
So,
Yeah.
maybe they just need to add something to the interface of, hey, we've noticed you've, little paperclip pops up.
Clippy pops up,
Yep.
yeah.
We've noticed that
Navi shows up.
we've noticed that you have 2 boots equipped. Just
Yeah.
so you know, this is how boots work together, type
Yeah.
of thing. So,
Yeah,
or you
that's
have
not
2
bad.
unique attack modifiers. So,
I have seen somebody go for the Boot Seeker build on Bloodseeker, where you
haven't
just
seen-
build
just
one of
boots and
every
boots
boot.
and boots, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he still has no speed cap, right?
Boot Seeker.
Well,
I think at one point he had
yeah.
no.
I forget how it works, but like movement speed
There's something with Bloodseeker though that was unique about it.
like stacks weird, doesn't it?
Well, but
I'm
he
not
had.
sure.
I know at one point he could outrun